dès le mois de mars.
EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen says Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has pledged to increase humanitarian aid into Gaza. Speaking from the G7 summit in Canada, she urged Israel to let food and medical supplies reach Gazan civilians. Von der Leyen said she will track where the aid goes and whether it reaches those in need. The EU push comes amid global outrage over Israel's aid blockade earlier this year, which the UN says has put Gaza at risk of famine. The EU now sees a window for humanitarian and diplomatic progress in the midst of wider regional escalation.
Insisted and urged that humanitarian aid that is not reaching Gaza has to go into Gaza. He promised that this is the case and that this will be the case. So I will be working, coming back home from G7, on having a close look at the facts, where our humanitarian aid is, how it reaches Gaza, whether it gets into Gaza, what we can do to make sure that humanitarian aid reaches the people in Gaza.
Meanwhile, Netanyahu announced a possible breakthrough in hostage talks. He said negotiations have been instructed to advance deals to free hostages held by Hamas. I won't give up on anyone, he said, promising to destroy Hamas while working to bring hostages home. Here's what the Israeli Prime Minister has said.
נתתי הנחיה שלשום לקדם את המשא ומתן, כי יש איזו פרצה שאני מזהה. לא מוותר על אף אחד. אבל אחרי שאנחנו נשלים את המלאכה, שתי המלאכות, גם השמדת החמאס, גם שחרור החטופים.
Now we move on to North America. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered a sweeping deportation crackdown targeting Democratic-led cities including Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Trump posted on Truth Social that millions of illegal aliens reside in these cities, which he claimed are the core of the Democrat power center. He announced what he called the largest mass deportation drive in history, instructing ICE to do all in their power. He also deployed 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines to Los Angeles, despite opposition from Californian officials who are now suing to block the move. In Los Angeles, days of protests against ICE raids have mostly remained peaceful. Though some violence has been reported, Mayor Karen Bass extended a nightly curfew, saying residents are living in fear and accusing the federal raids of being indiscriminate. Trump remains defiant, saying federal agents face threats from radical Democrats but will not be deterred. He says this is a fight to reverse mass destruction migration. Now we move on to Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine have launched a bold long-range strike deep inside Russia, hitting a drone factory in Yelabuga, Tatarstan, 1,000 kilometers from the border. The facility reportedly produced Iranian-designed Shahid drones used against Ukraine. Videos showed explosions at the site. Kyiv said the factory tested and launched drones that targeted Ukrainian energy and civilian infrastructure. Meanwhile, Ukraine's forces recaptured Andriivka in the Sumy region. President Zelensky confirmed the advance as Ukraine pushes back against Russian troop buildup. He said Russia has massed 53,000 soldiers near Sumy in a somber update. Ukraine also confirmed the return of 1,200 fallen soldiers' bodies from Russia. On the Russian side, Moscow struck back, targeting the Kremenchuk oil refinery in Ukraine's Poltava region. Russia's defense ministry claimed it hit a key fuel source for Ukrainian forces using drones and missiles. President Zelensky condemned the strike as a vile attack on energy infrastructure and noted it happened after U.S. calls to avoid hitting Russian energy sites. Russia also claimed gains in Donetsk, Sumy, and other areas, including taking control of Malinivka. Both sides report ongoing heavy fighting. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz confirmed the arrest of 57-year-old Vance Luther Bolter for the killing of the Democratic state lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband, which he carried out while he was impersonating a police officer. Let's listen in to what the Minnesota governor had to say.
After a two-day manhunt, 2 sleepless nights, law enforcement have apprehended Vance Bolter. That's 48 hours that law enforcement involved in a complex and dangerous manhunt. Spent Father's Day away from their families to deliver justice for Melissa and Mark Hortman and their children who spent this Father's Day alone.
Authorities say Bolter also allegedly shot and wounded State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette in their nearby home. He was charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder and 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Police recovered 3 AK-47 rifles, a 9mm handgun, and a list of public officials with their addresses from Bolter's SUV. Now we move on to Europe.